What's up?
I find it deeply ironic that all of us are using trouble-free Macs, and invariably every week almost somebody has to reboot or jiggle the handle or something just to get audio and video working.
I've just about had it with with
Man,
Apple in general at this point. Like all the crap doesn't work now. Like
OS
it's
10
just,
is the new Vista. Didn't you know?
it's just, man, I'm just getting so frustrated. My dock, my Thunderbolt dock, it's like I just had it replaced, and now it's screwing up again. I mean, that's not totally Apple's fault, but it's probably Apple's fault. And then and my Mac is crashing now. Like it'll crash. It'll just hard crash.
No,
and
John,
restart.
John, you are crashing your Mac.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay?
And,
It works for me. I don't know what your problem is.
And iPhone apps don't update. They like get stuck. I don't understand this. Like it's so simple of a problem. Like why is it got to get stuck? Like if it's you know what I mean? Like I have to actually like cancel the update and then it
No,
gets
that
stuck.
happens on my Mac all the time with App Store updates.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
And then the iOS in general, like I'm using the YouTube thing on my phone, the recorder thing, and then it uploads the videos to YouTube. I get this little message, it has stopped uploading. You have to open up the app again, and then it like screws it up when it uploads it, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Yeah.
this. Like the whole
Then-
world is going to crap.
To top it all off, the update to El Capitan broke my tethering for my phone, so I can't use my phone to tether anymore. And
Oh,
I've
gosh.
been dealing with the tech support people from the Easy Tether app that I use on my Android, and I have completely pissed them off. Like, totally enraged them.
That's awesome.
I get the snarkiest, you're doing it wrong responses from them at this point. And I totally understand their frustration. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I completely understand their frustration because something on my Mac is completely screwed up to the point where I don't even see Easy Tether as a network adapter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone. I can't reinstall it. I can't get it back. I have no idea. But it's really been frustrating to me lately. And then, of course, there's the whole Total Finder doesn't work anymore because Apple decided to lock everything down. And Finder sucks. It is so terrible.
Software.
It's 2015, and I can't copy and paste a file.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
what I want,
ridiculous.
what I want is the cut and paste.
Yeah.
Like moving stuff around.
Right. I don't want to have to open 2 freaking tabs or windows and drag while holding Control and drop and it. No, just Control, Command X, Command V. Come on.
It's someone's cheering out there. That whoever that dude was, I was like, "Why do they always talk about Apple?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they're bashing Apple." Because I'm getting sick of it. It's just gone downhill since Steve Jobs died. That's it. Like it has, and Microsoft just added SSH support. So so I don't know.
Really?
Like,
OpenSSH is now supported on Windows. It's pretty awesome.
I'm really thinking about pulling the eject button, but here's the only thing that stops me is the mobile like integrated experience for Microsoft is just not good. Like I'd have to go to Android, which Android I don't mind. Like I like Android.
No, you'd have to go to a Windows phone.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like I don't think I could go to a Windows phone. I don't know. Maybe I could try it, but I don't know. Like I'm I don't know. My Apple Watch doesn't do anything except tell me what time it is. It's just like it's a sad.
It's a $500
fanboy day.
Bluetooth remote for your iPhone.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I'm so disillusioned. I think I just wish I never knew Apple.
I mean, granted, there are still things that I like about it. I'm used to it. But there are so many things. There's a handful of things that Windows legitimately does better, and I miss those things on Windows. I buy apps and plugins to make my Mac work like Windows in certain cases.
Yeah, I've done that too. I actually just bought an app a couple weeks ago to let me right-click and create files.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupid stuff. Like you can't right-click and like say create new text file here.
Yeah.
And you can do it, but you have to like. It's like the tutorials on how to do it are like this 10 10 to 20 step process with like action scripts, and it's like, okay, no.
I read this big fat Mac Bible book, like what's his name? What's the name for the Mac guy? I don't know. It's like the comprehensive guide. I read the entire friggin' thing, and I still don't know how to use a Mac. Like it's just I mean, in comparison to Windows, I guess. Like I mean, I saw all the shortcuts and stuff. And yeah, there's some. But it's just I don't know. It's just honestly not as good of an experience. It's just
the one thing that I'll say that truly does prevent me from going back to Windows is the command shell. Even PowerShell. I hate PowerShell. It's garbage. PowerShell is the worst of Bash and XML and C# mashed together into I guess we have to do this thing.
Well, it's simply because, I sort of agree with you, but I sort of disagree. So the reason why you can do tons of stuff in PowerShell. Like if you become an expert in PowerShell, you can do a ton of stuff. It's incredibly powerful, but it's not cross-platform. I don't enjoy poking my eyes with sharp sticks. Yeah, I mean, if you become a master, like you can do probably you can do more because you can access the entire .NET framework from PowerShell, right? Like you can
automate everything. I mean, all of the automation stuff that you've ever wanted to do on Windows, it is doable with PowerShell.
The problem though is then when you get in front, but servers run Linux, you know what I mean, and then you're like you have to. It doesn't translate.
I find it far easier to figure out Bash scripting, so I can do Linux stuff and Mac stuff and AIX and everything else that I do at my client office. It's we have Windows servers, but we have more Linux servers than anything else, and it's just it makes more sense to me to work across all of the different platforms using the same core set of tools than it does to learn something highly specific and very different in a Windows environment.
Yeah, I think I'm waiting. I think I'm probably going to get, like, when I reboot, I'm going to probably get the next Surface Book Pro or whatever it's called, Surface Book.
I've been hearing some really good things about those.
John's going back to that well again.
Yeah, gosh, I thought I had this problem solved, but it's like, the other thing is I'm getting sick of this big-ass monitor. It's like, it's just, I'm putting
Well, you keep sitting so close to it.
Well, yeah, even when I'm not, though. What I find myself doing is just putting one window on the left side, right? And not even using the split because I don't even use the right side of it. So I think I want a 4K monitor, but I think I want a smaller one than that. It's weird because I had one point I had like 8 monitors, and I keep on going down to less and less. Maybe because I'm doing less coding. That I don't know though. I think I'm just like being more practical, and I'm also realizing that like, as I focus more, I really don't want to have multiple things open. And as I'm using the laptop in laptop mode more, where you only have one screen, you get used to like just switching between windows and keeping the. There are some instances where you want to have 2 windows open at the same time, but even in those instances, like if you get good at switching, it's not even that huge of a penalty. So I don't know.
I really need to have like. A window for like notes, like be able to have notes and whatever I'm writing up side by side, or a web browser and whatever I'm writing side by side, because it does get really clunky to tab back and forth. And
having the giant monitor, I've got the 27-inch iMac, or not iMac, the 27-inch Thunderbolt, and having a giant monitor lets me have side by side for that.
Yeah,
but that's more the exception for me. I mean, in your case, Josh, I can see how that being the rule, how you're doing that constantly with writing. It's more the exception for me that I really need that. Most of the time I do it because it doesn't make sense to have giant white space doing nothing.
Right.
So I do it anyways, but when I'm at my client office, I just have the laptop. And there's only been one case where I really, really wanted a second monitor, and my coworker there had a monitor that he let me use, and so I set it up and used it, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
It's interesting how that works. I mean, even on the new laptops too, like the resolution is such that you can really do a side by side. It's not the best thing, but I mean, you can open up 2 browser windows or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
I make it work on my 13-inch MacBook.
yeah.
If I had a 15-inch, it would be pretty livable.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. We're at this weird phase in technology right now where things are like, I mean, even like Google just announced that they're going to merge Chrome and Android, right? So like
Oh, okay.
we've got some like in the wearable space is just like totally exploded with crap and like people haven't figured that out. Like I don't know. We're just in a very, very weird spot right now where all these competing ecosystems and no one has really the smooth, perfect thing yet. So,
Yeah.
who knows? We'll see. But it's weird. I go back on like everything that I ever thought. The older I get, like the more I'm like, man, like oh, I don't need 2 monitors. I don't need like all this stuff. Like all this stuff that I thought was, I don't know.
You are no longer JP from Grandma's Boy.
That's right.
All right, so Randy McRant over.
Yeah. Okay, now you guys can start listening to the podcast. Stop fast forwarding.
Totally. We need a stop sign. Hold that up. Okay, start listening here.
So, what did you guys do this week?
I got more subscribers on Watch Me Code.
I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So like a week and a half ago, I was down to 416. Yesterday, I was up to 424. Lost 1, down to 423 today. But I mean,
is that your high watermark, 424 right now?
Yeah, that is. That's the highest I've had. So 423. I hit 423 once previously, and I'm sitting there right now. So that's still pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And those are full price subscriptions, right? That are coming in?
No, not all of them.
They're coming in from the campaign?
Yeah, some of them are coming in from the campaign. I've had 6 people come in from that new sales pitch, which is not bad.
Is that of the 200, or is that how many people?
Yeah, out of the 200 people. So that's like a 3% conversion rate, which is pretty good.
That's fantastic.
And then so I changed up the way I'm putting people into that campaign. Previously, I had it set so that the automation rule had a 14-day delay before putting them into the pitch campaign, and now I changed it so that the automation rule puts them into the campaign right away as soon as they join my list, but then the first email in the campaign is delayed by 14 days.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I did that purely out of vanity because I got tired of seeing that number of subscribers in that pitch campaign constantly dropping.
Oh, I see.
Because people are unsubscribing from it, which I expected, So the number was just steadily trickling down, and I was like, man, this is depressing. So I switched the way it works. So now people are dumping into that campaign right away, and I'm seeing that number going up again.
Nice.
Cool.
But yeah, it's I put 145 people into that campaign when I made that switch, and then everybody that's joining my mailing list now is getting put into that campaign pretty much right away. I'm adding a significant number of people to my mailing list this week. I've added probably close to about 75 people this week.
Nice. That's great.
Which is pretty good for me. Used to be I would add 75 people a month, and now I'm getting 200, 250 people a month on my list. So at 3%. This is 5 or 6 people a month, maybe a little more than that for new subscribers.
Yeah.
That's just for the people coming off of my mailing list. I still get new subscribers from other places. I've had a handful of full price subscribers in the last week, which has been pretty nice. Not sure where they're coming from, unfortunately, but still nice to have them coming on board.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. One thing you could do is as soon as someone subscribes to them an auto response that just asks them where they came from. For a while,
that's a good idea.
Do that.
But just get some engagement going too.
Yeah, and then you can figure out once you figure out where they're coming from, you can figure out where you're missing the tracking so that you could identify that.
Right.
So that'd be cool. But yeah, that's good. You're hitting, and that's, I mean, that's like, this is really good because like also like, again, you're hitting that leverage point
Yeah.
where same amount of work, but now just as you create more and more content, you have a larger content library,
Hmm.
you get more traffic, which means you get more subscribers. You're holding that conversion rate, so you're going to grow. Like, I mean, it's going to take some time, but the growth rate, I mean, you're going to make more money for doing the same amount of work, and that's
Right.
good. So
Yeah.
Which kind of brings me to another thing. This week I had this kind of strange realization about how odd my current career is. I mean, when you look at what I do on a weekly basis, most normal people would say I'm unemployed. I mean, I write 2 blog posts, I release a new video, I record Entreprogrammers, and yeah, okay, I go to my client office twice a week, but that's less than half of my work week.
yeah,
So, but it's kind of amazing to see where I'm currently sitting in my career. It's because I mean I am legitimately getting paid to write blog posts and produce screencasts, and it's pretty dang awesome.
Do you know what your monthly what's your monthly now from Watch Me Code?
Sitting at around 4,000. Sometimes for the last couple of months, I've hit 5,000 because of
nice.
package sales. But this
Okay,
month I'm only going to hit 4,000, little over, like maybe 4,100, which is still pretty good. And if I
Yeah.
continue growing, if I can get up to around 600, 600 subscribers, active subscribers, I'll be hitting over 5,000 a month, which would be really nice.
That's
yeah,
great.
that's nice.
But I wanted to ask you, Josh. Oh, actually, before I get into that, I started another thing this week where I've got 2 guys that I'm going to be talking with on a weekly basis, helping to do some mentoring, training stuff with them. One guy has done a lot of WordPress development in the past, so he and I are going to be swapping services basically, like I think a couple of you guys have done before with interns mentoring stuff. So the way we have it set up is I'm going to help him in learning how to configure a Linux box on DigitalOcean and get Nginx and Node.js and all those things up and running so that he can have a good website to demonstrate what he's doing and what he's learning and be able to host all these little projects that he wants to build. And in the process, give him probably a good recommendation on LinkedIn for his resume and whatnot so that he can find a better job somewhere. And in exchange for that, he's going to be helping me out with Watch Me Code. There's still some features inside of the episode series that I want to add in there, so he's going to be digging into that for me and figuring out how to make all that work and make some other tweaks and changes and recommendations for the Watch Me Code website as well. So
Nice.
that's going to be pretty cool. Then the other guy that I'm working with, we have more of a loose arrangement. He's not going to. We're not trading services, but he's also not paying for the mentoring stuff directly. He's kind of not sure where he wants to go with things, so we're just getting together to talk about things in general, career and direction and things like that. Really more as just a friendly conversation than a mentoring session. But he is putting together some of his training budget for the company he works for. He's a development lead to make a fairly substantial purchase of Watch Me Code screencasts,
Nice.
which would be pretty nice.
Sweet.
And then our conversations together are going to be me figuring out how to do mentoring stuff and him figuring out what he wants to do with his career. So I think it'll be beneficial for both of us in the long run because I would like to, honestly, I would like to get into this mentoring stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do this all the time with my coworkers at my jobs, but being independent, I don't get to do that so much anymore. And I did it a lot with when I was contracting as well, but I only have the one client, and I'm the only developer working on my projects. So I think long term, this will be good. It'll help me get back to doing some of those kinds of things that I like doing. And I feel like I actually have time to do it now, which is good.
Nice.
Now that I don't have to worry about Signal Leaf at all, that is gone, completely dead off my plate. You know, I've spent the last couple of months wasting time playing video games, and I've loved it. And we've talked about this a few times already. And I feel like, okay, I can just cut back on my video game playing and take on some of these things that I want to do instead. So it's not like I'm adding more to the pressure or more to my schedule. I'm just replacing something that's non-productive but enjoyable with something that is productive and enjoyable.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be good overall, especially the getting some of the features into Watch Me Code that I need.
I don't know. You could kind of look at your mentees as like Sims in SimCity. You know, just you could kind of convince yourself that's a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let's see what they do if I tell them to learn COBOL.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
All right, I think you need to take a shower. So I can smell you through Skype, man. That's bad. So what else was I going to say? I don't remember where I was going with that. But anyways, so the other thing that I wanted to get at, I mentioned this on the mailing list just a minute ago. Josh, a couple of weeks ago, you sent an email to your mailing list about not lying to people with your scarcity in your offer.
Yeah.
And that's been driving me nuts ever since I read that, because I do exactly what you said not to do.
Yeah.
I have this one discount code for Watch Me Code that goes out in my sales pitch, and it never changes because I don't have a good way to change this discount code in my email sequence, because people are every day being added to the sequence. It's not like I don't know what to do about that. How do I fix that problem?
Okay, well, a couple thoughts. So, one option. So I was meaning to set this up, and I probably will at some point for my Sublime list, where I've got an evergreen funnel.
Yeah.
And one thing you could do would be to just have the coupon code expire. So you're using Stripe, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is it hard to create new discount codes?
No, but I do it. I have to do it in the Watch Me Code website, not through Stripe directly.
Okay. One option would be to set up to just change the code every week and edit your email.
Mm-hmm.
Does the email go out on a specific day?
Yeah, they go out Monday through Friday.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Chuck.
Poor Chuck. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
He's probably
is Chuck
been like.
He just.
Yeah.
We just assume you agree with everything we say.
I didn't even know you were on the call.
Oh, this is hilarious. Chuck, my video and audio wasn't working earlier, so
Yeah.
This week's
Join the
podcasting
club. Wait.
problems.
there we go.
Yeah, it selected the wrong audio
Wrong
input.
input. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Hangouts.
This
Okay.
week's podcasting problems. Okay.
So one
So
option would
I've
be.
got 6 emails that go out
Mhm.
Monday through Friday.
Be-
So
be-
with the discount code.
Yeah.
Before you get into the technical details, I
Yeah.
do want to say though, it's not false scarcity. I mean, I do the same thing, and here's the rationale for this. Just because technologically someone could use the discount code past the expiration doesn't mean that that is the agreement. I mean, like, I give you a key to my house, and I'm like, hey, while I'm gone in Mexico, you could come over and throw a party, whatever, house at my house, whatever, for the next week. And you come over 2 weeks later and use the key, and and whatever, and have and have hookers over and all kinds of strippers, and I might.
Why does that subject keep coming up with you, John?
I don't know. I might think, all right, fine. I'm just like, that's cool. I don't care. But that wasn't the agreement. So if you give someone an agreement, right, just because you didn't change the locks doesn't mean that you gotta. So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit fuzzy there, but I don't think that I mean, if someone wants to pull one over on you, that's fine. But you're offering them this deal during this time period, and
So I agree with I agree with the idea of what you're saying, but I think what Josh was saying in his email was very specific about how I have worded my offer. I mean, I am very directly saying this is your last chance to use this discount code.
Yeah.
Which is just flat out lie.
Well, you can say this is the last chance for this discount code will be valid for this offer for this.
But that's not right. How do I word it? How do I word it so that I am making clear that the offer is valid for this week, even if the discount code still works?
I mean, honestly, to me, you can't make the type of strong scarcity statements that you want to make unless the thing expires. That's just. I mean, to me, that's just like you have to act like it's expiring, and then it doesn't expire, and then somebody uses it 2 days later, and they're like, oh, well, okay, next time you do a launch, I know I can get this pretty much whenever I want, and there's really no reason to worry about it.
Right.
I have a friend that was going through the same thing with a conference that he wanted to put on, and he was saying, well, maybe I should just make it free because I'm not getting as many signups as I want. And I said, yeah, but then from then on out, people are going to just hold out until you make it free.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
let's just wait him out. We'll just stare at him and.
I don't know. The law of numbers says that doesn't really matter. Because the number of people that okay, first of all, the number of people that use a discount code beyond when its expiration is extremely small. Believe me, I know, because I've been doing this now for like 3 years, or I guess 2 years, and I've got like a handful of people. And of those people that are going to purchase again, and that they're going to think that and remember you out of all the online purchases they make in the world, it's not going to matter. I mean, I'm you can't lie to people. I totally agree with that. But you could totally say that this discount code is only valid for you up till today, and then it's not valid for you, right? Like you could however you want to word it. You could totally do that, and it's totally. I mean, because a technological problem shouldn't be the thing that. I mean, if there's an easy way to solve this, then sure, let's all do it. I'll do it if there's an easy way to solve it. But I don't think there is really an easy way to solve it. The only thing I could come up with is like make a cron job that changes the WordPress database, or something like every month on some algorithmic thing.
That's actually not a bad idea.
But then you also have to get the email. I guess you can use the Drip API and change the email. But I don't know. If you make a WordPress plugin that does it, I'll buy it from you. But aside from that, it's an agreement. It's I don't know, like.
Yeah, I'm continuously torn on this subject because of everything I've already said. But so, what were your ideas on this, Josh? Other than I would have a very difficult time remembering to change this every week, and especially having to change it in 7 emails.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
assuming that Derek has real integrity, what should he do?
Yes.
Are you saying I don't have real integrity?
I did not say that. You said that.
Marketer. And according to Twitter, I am a spammy marketer. So.
Good for you.
Yes. Does Scarcity Samurai solve this? I remember hearing about that at one point.
Scarcity Samurai, I'm pretty sure they.
Sounds like a bad Halloween costume.
Yeah. I want to say that they might be one of the ones where they're like doing the fake countdown timer.
They do a countdown timer. I know that.
They might,
but they tag people, like they cookie them and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it integrates with Aweber, MailChimp, GetResponse. I wonder if it has maybe it doesn't integrate with Drip. I don't know.
Well, so the easiest, the simplest like manual solution I can come up with is to create a new coupon code, and then update the your well, this might be harder than I'm thinking, but if you had one sign-up form, you could have that submitted and
Oh.
set, or have it set up a drip rule where every time somebody it subscribes, it automatically sticks the coupon code in a field, and then you could just do a merge. Like, that would not be that hard. It would be a little annoying to have to do it once a week, but
That would only be one place to do it, though.
yeah, it would just be one place.
Yeah, just use a tag. Or I could get rid of the discount code in the email. Just say, click here to get your subscription with a discount, and send them to a specific landing page.
Yeah.
And only have to update the discount code that I list on that landing page.
Well, you could even not use a discount code. That's where I was looking at the Scarcity Samurai. It can even have a countdown timer, right?
The way Restrict Content Pro is set up, that would be very difficult for me to do.
Well, can't you just create a new product that just has a different price? That's
part of the problem. If I do that, yes, I can, but if I do that, I have to
set up all the security.
I have to figure out how to make that plan not show up when people go through the normal subscription process, which I think I may have already done, but I haven't verified that.
Okay, there should be a way to do that. I mean, if you could do that, that would be... Because now that you're having this conversation, I'm thinking about that too. Because, see, now there's the incentive I'm thinking here is... I hate using discount codes because people don't want to buy without the discount code, and it's one more step, and it's and if you forget it, and so maybe if you just set up a sales page, a landing page, and if it's got a countdown timer, if that Scarcity Samurai works, to update it and it tags people, and so that always goes to the discount's already built into the price. And so it just shows it crossed out and says, here's your discount, and it's only good for this amount of time.
If only I had somebody that could work on Watch Me Code doing this WordPress stuff for me. Oh, wait! I really like that idea, actually. Setting up a different plan in Watch Me Code.
Could you, so to throw one wrinkle in this, could you set it up so that, instead, you could still, I think you'd still want to have a way to, expire it, right? Because otherwise they could go back to that page at any time.
That was the whole problem to begin with.
Well, no, the button would... I mean, they could hit the button, but they can't expire. I mean, the page would expire. Like, if you use, a plugin like Scarcity Samurai, it makes sure that the page is no longer valid for that person after that time. Like, they get cookied. And so I mean, there's solutions out there. I mean, I'm sure there's more than one. Like, a page, no problem. Like, I guarantee you there's solutions that can do that.
Right. Yeah, so you'd either need to have a WordPress plugin that would do it on the WordPress side, or you'd need to find a way. You could probably also do something drip where you'd add a query parameter.
Yeah.
You could merge in a query parameter to the page.
Well, no. Beyond that, Drip has a fairly good API that I can query. Mm-hmm. So what I could do, and this would be a fair amount of code to write, but again, like John said, this might be something worth selling. I could probably set this up so that when you get put into the campaign, my automation rule applies a very specific tag to you. That's easy. I can have the link go to a landing page and paste in, some unique ID or whatever in the landing page using Drip's link tracking and all that kind of stuff. When you get to that landing page, query Drip for your subscription and check that tag. And if that tag is present, give you the discount page. If the tag is not present, then don't give you the discount. Say, sorry, your time, this discount has expired for you.
That problem's already solved, though. Don't resolve that. There's definitely plugins that do that, I guarantee you.
Okay.
I think the Scarcity Samurai does exactly that, except it also has a countdown timer. But I think there's other competitors that have that solved.
Okay.
They give you a link to put in your email. I forget which podcast. I was listening to some podcast, and they're talking about this. So.
It is a WordPress plugin. That's cool.
Yeah.
Scarcity Samurai?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best one. I just remember hearing about that maybe on John McIntyre's thing or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say I don't want to do. Let's set that aside. Let me ask the question a different way. Other than a discount and a discount code or a different plan or some technological solution like that, what kind of scarcity could I legitimately offer in this Watch Me Code sales pitch?
A bonus. I give you something free.
What would that be? How would that look? Because anything that I would set up would have to be an ongoing, recurring bonus. And how would I prevent that person from getting that bonus? It all comes back to that, but
that one's a little bit easier because then you can just send them the download link when they purchase the thing, right? As a receipt, like here's a download link, or you could set up an automation rule in Drip to say, okay, when they are tagged or at a certain time frame, and they bought your thing, then send them this email that has this download link. The download link doesn't have to be secured. I mean,
no, and I can make Drip do that entirely.
Yeah.
All with automation rules, because I can have an automation rule in Drip say when they join this campaign, apply this tag, and then the same automation rule will have when they join this campaign, remove the same tag, but set a delay on the remove, because you can do that in the automation now, which is friggin' awesome. So then I can have
there you go.
I can have another automation rule that says when somebody subscribes to Watch Me Code and they have this tag still, then send them this email with this download link.
Exactly. Yep.
So I could automate all of that through Drip directly. That's pretty slick.
Yep. Another thing you could do would be like legitimate live events or something. And you might be able to do those for a while. Like kind of what I'm doing now with my email list is I'm sending out all these emails as broadcasts, and that someday I'm going to come back and I'm going to have like a year worth of the emails, and I'm just going to queue them up, and I've got a full year worth of emails in the can. If you did some stuff live, you could do it for a while, and then you'd have like this backlog of bonus stuff that you could use for different promotions and.
True.
Yeah.
It is more work. But
yeah, we've talked about that a lot, and that's something that I keep saying I want to do. It's just really difficult for me to sit down and actually do it. I just gotta make the time to do it. But the bonus idea, because I've got so many ebooks that I could easily. I mean, I could change the offer on Watch Me Code from get a discount to get all of these ebooks that I've written, and have those be the offer in the Watch Me Code sign up.
Yeah.
You have to test it with the pricing too.
Yeah.
It's better if you can do that because you have a recurring subscription. So when you give someone a discount, you give them a big discount because it's like every month, right? Whereas if you give them a bonus, you give it to them once.
So
but
I could combine this. I could say, hey, look, you're already a subscriber. You're already learning a lot from me. I really appreciate you hanging around. I'm going to give you the $9 a month, and I'm not going to constrain it. Not going to say this is limited. Just here's Watch Me Code for $9 a month. And oh, by the way, if you sign up this week, you're going to get all of these ebooks I've written.
Well, okay. Here's what I would do. This is the better pitch.
I would start it, and I would test both of them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Siri is the new always on Siri is just a travesty.
Yes.
During the keynote, like he said, now you can just say Siri blah blah blah, and my phone. I was watching the keynote on my phone plugged in, and it picked up his voice, and it totally like screwed it up. Like
wow. So somebody listening on an iPhone right now.
Yeah.
Siri, what is 0 divided by 0? Siri, what is my birth date? Siri, where
Siri,
am I?
send a message to john.sonmez@gmail.com and send him my password. Last password. Thank you.
Siri, go to watchmecode.net and click on the subscribe now button.
Oh, let me do a couple. Hey, Google, play the Ruby Rogues podcast. Alexa, play the JavaScript Jabber podcast.
Nice.
Did
So,
have we pissed everyone off yet?
Every phone in the world.
all right.
All of our subscribers.
So what was I saying?
Okay, Google.
I have no idea. Okay, Google.
So I was saying, So I was saying definitely. So Derek, I think I'd let it run the way it is now for a little while.
Okay.
Get a pretty solid,
Yeah.
and probably put like I don't know 300 to 500 people through it. Because I think you're gonna probably pick up a couple more. Like I think it'll be higher than 3%. I think it'll be closer to 5, maybe even.
Yeah, I've got a total of about 500 people that are going through it right now.
So okay, so yeah, let them kind of
And,
go
and
through
it's going to take 3 more weeks, 4
Yeah.
more weeks for all 500 people to get through.
Yeah, so I would let that finish and then try maybe switch it over for a little while and test it with the bonuses. And
Okay.
you definitely are going to want to you're going to have to sell the bonuses hard.
Yeah.
When we get this page up for John's course, I think I did a pretty good job with selling the bonuses. John was pretty happy with it. So you can take a look at the bullets, like how I did that, and
Okay.
you got to just kind of build up the value. I mean, we built this package up to where it's basically a $900 package because
The bonuses look better than the course. I'm like, dang, I want those bonuses. Like, oh wait a minute, I have those bonuses.
Yeah.
I wrote those.
So you kind of you have to sell them, every bit as hard as the course as the subscription itself. So but then if that converts anywhere near the same number of people, then it's not even a contest because
Right.
it's like the revenue would be like 40% higher or something like that from every subscriber. So even if the discount converts at 5 and the other one converts at 4,
Right.
you're gonna make a lot more with the bonuses. So
Except there's one other thing though, is that they might have purchased those books from you. Like you might reduce the lifetime value, but I think that's going to be a small percentage. I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal.
Right.
And then the other thing I would suggest with it too that you could do, I mean, the optimal funnel here I would think would be first give them the bonuses, right, as the time window, and then a little bit later pitch them and say, hey, look, all right, so you didn't want the bonuses. Here's the final offer. I'll give it to you for 30% off, $9 a month. How about that? That's the best I could do. Or you just come up with a good excuse for it. Like, I realize that it might not be that you don't want these bonuses because you love these bonuses. So how about if I give you the bonuses? It might be price, right? So how about if I give you the bonuses? This is the best deal I can cut for you. I realize, some people can afford it, some people can't afford it. So, if I knock $5 off, does that make it worth it? And then you kind of you prize frame it too and be like, well, maybe if not, then maybe we're not right for each other. That kind of thing. Like, you got a big nose. Get out of here.
I do have a big nose. Have you seen it?
Yeah. You got nothing on me, Derek.
Yeah.
Look,
That's got to be a prosthetic, dude.
There's some kind of big nose Entreprogrammers thing because we've got, there we go.
Yeah.
The best part about my nose, though.
Internet marketers lie.
That's right. We're all a bunch of
One other
liars
thing
with
I'm going to
big
throw out
noses.
here, I listened to and I've been rereading the book Ask by Ryan Levesque.
Oh yeah.
And he talks about basically building a funnel on surveys, but one of the things that he does is he sends a "Why do you hate me?" email after he's done the pitch once or twice, and it's basically his way of figuring out why they didn't buy, and more specifically maybe what he could do to get them to buy.
Does
So
he literally
it-
ask, why do you hate me?
That's what he puts in the subject line, and it gets people to open it.
Yeah.
But then it's or do you hate me? I don't remember. Anyway,
Why do you hate
it's
me? Yeah, it's why do you hate me?
But yeah, so the idea is then you start asking, okay, well, obviously you didn't want this bonus and you didn't want this discount, so what's stopping you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me or is it something else? And
Something I said?
yeah, you may find that
Do I
there's something
smell?
else that you can give them to you can give them that will you can add to your funnel or something.
Yeah, I mean, do I smell bad? I took a shower last week.
Yeah, I didn't mean to drip on that email, but man.
Jeez.
Hey, Steve Woods. I just gave a shout out because I saw on Twitter that he's watching. So
yes. Hey, Steve Woods.
That's funny because I have a brother named Steve Wood.
Nice. But yeah, no, you're totally right. I think that makes a lot of sense, Chuck, because then you figure out like what they're like, why. And then you start to make it better each time, right? Because as you get this data, it's like a continuous feedback cycle.
Yeah.
Which makes, instead of us guessing like, well, should we lower the price? Should we, whatever. Not that people always tell you the truth, but at least you'll get some kind of indication. But one thing I learned this weekend, like from talking to a lot of marketers, was that whole like just hit them up with the different, like offer one thing, then offer another thing, like, and then like you might as well like but start with your strongest, which would be the bonuses, and then discount the price, and then because that kind of resolved in my head too, because a lot of people, like, there are two camps, like everyone's like, oh, John, stop discounting your product, like if you don't want to be a discounter. But then it's just give them a bonus. But then it's like, well, yeah, but discounts work. So, but I like this because you try both, because you're like, okay, well, bonus first because that's better for everyone, and then discount second.
Yep. Yeah, and that goes back to the ability to have a landing page that where the only place to get this price is on that landing page, which I think I can do. Most of Watch Me Code is set up with custom pricing pages and subscription form pages now. I'd have to. I have a development environment now, and I have Tony working on this with me, so we probably could set this up. I want him to focus on that series page first, though.
You should also have like an upsell too, actually. If you think about it, like you should have another pricing tier. Like instead of $15 a month, you should have like a $25 or $30 a month, and it's like a premium. Like as soon as they sign up, you offer that. It's not something that you just show normally, but when they sign up, maybe something where you're like, well, would you, I don't know, if there's something else you could add to it.
Yeah,
you do want to be awesome tier.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Avdi have like a because you love me tier for a while?
I don't recall.
Somebody did. I don't remember who it was.
That could be. Yeah.
Oh, it was for one of his books. It was one of the books. It might have been Exceptional Ruby. But he had here's the normal book price, and here's the Because You Love Me book price.
Nice.
And it very clearly said, this is the exact same book. You're just giving me more money because you love me.
I like that technique too, because if you buy the normal one, it says that you don't love him.
Right.
Like, so,
no, guess which version of it I bought.
You bought the Love Me, but otherwise you wouldn't be talking about it.
Exactly.
You've got the a-hole price and the.
Oh man, I hate those. Everyone's using those pop-ups now that are like, like, yes, I want the bonus. No, I suck.
Oh yeah, those tick me off.
Yeah.
Apparently they work. Apparently they
but
convert higher, but
pop-ups are already so dang manipulative.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to switch to that scroll. I'm so excited that Thrive put the scroll mat thing.
Oh yeah, the welcome mat. I had somebody complain about that recently.
That's such a poor thing to complain about because you could scroll right past it. You don't even have to click an X.
It was a legitimate complaint though, because I reproduced the behavior on my Android phone. The guy said, on my Android phone, I was trying to read. I got halfway through reading your article, and then it scrolled me all the way to the very top to pitch your mailing list.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That does suck. Sorry about it. And I reproduced it. I pulled up the article on my phone in an incognito window, and it happened to me too.
Yeah.
So I might have like the display rules set up wrong or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to look at it.
I had trouble one time where I had it set up, and I thought I had it. How was it set up? It was like it had to do with the time frame of how often to show it, and it was like I wanted it to only show like once for every 7 days or once every 30 days or something like that, and it was like every time you'd hit the page.
Yeah.
And then
mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was like it was triggering some kind of refresh or something, and it was a pain.
Yeah, I've got it set up to show every 30 days. I had a complaint about it showed up for somebody too often. I think I had it at like 14 days or something, and literally every time this person went to the site, it was showing up for him because they were only reading an article every couple of weeks.
Well, it's because they do all their browsing in incognito mode.
Well, that too. that happens every time. So when I want to test all of these settings, I open up an incognito window because I know it's gonna hit me every time.
Yep.
On the subject of complaints, I am talking a lot today, but on the subject of complaints, I got tired of dealing with trolls in comments on my blog, so I shut my comments off.
Oh no.
You could just delete them. I don't know.
I got so tired of doing that though, because it was not every day, but multiple times a week, especially since I started blogging twice a week. Multiple times a week, I would have to shut down a comment thread and delete comments because people were either attacking each other or flat out attacking me. And I don't care if people attack me. You know, I've dealt with worse than what these people are throwing at me. So that wasn't such a big deal. But the amount of time that I would spend having to read comments to see if it was a troll or not, to decide whether or not I was going to delete it, to go delete it, it just wasn't worth it for the 1 out of 100 comments that was legitimately useful in my blog post. So I shut off all comments entirely. No post shows any comment anymore, and there's no comment field anymore.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean,
I'm a lot happier since I've done it.
Well, it might hurt your interactive
Don't care.
Yeah.
If people want to interact with me about my posts, they'll put it on
I've got a new policy that I've been implementing, which is when you say something stupid, mindlessly stupid, then I make mama jokes about your mama. So this has been working extremely effective. And I stole this from this guy. I was watching this YouTube video, and he was like, stupid comment of the week. And he was talking, and then he just was like, every time someone put stupid comments on his YouTube, he just made stupid comments back. Yeah. He was just like, and it was awesome. Because like the stupid person has no idea what you're doing, but everyone else does, right? Yeah. And they look more stupid. So like just the other day, some guy like commented on one of my YouTube videos, like some just nasty thing, and I was like, did you even watch the video, or did you just look at the title? He's like, well, I don't need to watch the video to know what that's about. So I told him that his mama was fat, and I forgot what he said, and you know. And something else, and then that was it. He didn't say anything else.
Wow. Is that like saying that you have to pass Obamacare to know what's in it?
Exactly.
I don't have to watch the video to know what you said.
Exactly. So that anytime someone just totally ignorant comments, then I'm just gonna respond with mama jokes and stuff like that. So
I just got tired of wasting my time with it. I'm done with comments on my blog.
What you need to do is have a big comment button, and when people click it, you redirect them to Hacker
No. There's a plugin. There's a plugin on GitHub that you can get. I can't remember what it's called, but it creates a comment section on your blog or article or whatever, but when you hit submit, all it does is store your comment in local storage in your browser.
Oh wow!
So when you reload the page, it shows your comment as if it were really posted. But in reality, it's just your browser loading the comment.
That's great. That's
hate
like hell banning,
though.
Yeah,
I hate that. That's like such the I don't know. It's like
it wouldn't work for incognito though.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty awesome.
That's funny. I don't know. There needs to be something better than comments, or we should have like the canned spam act. Like you should have to leave your address and phone number when you leave a comment.
Oh, people do. No, I required people to log in with Discuss in order to comment, and they're still assholes.
That's I don't know. It's so like people who like leave like crap on the internet. Just you have nothing better to do. Like really, I mean,
your life is so pathetic that you have to make those kinds of comments about other people.
That was the guy. Actually, I sent you guys a video. They were talking about the Ty Lopez, right? The guy was talking about. I don't know if you guys watched it, but but he was talking about all these people bashing Ty Lopez. I don't know if you've
Right.
seen this YouTube thing with him with his Ferrari or Lamborghini in his garage, and he's like giving good advice. Anyway, people are bashing him, whatever, and the guy was like, "You're just so like this guy's actually like doing something with his life, like he's like
Right.
helping people, or whether you think he's a scam or not, like, and you're watching YouTube videos and making nasty comments, like." How could you even compare yourself to this guy, right? Who's like, so that's what I think is like, man, like, how stupid do you have to be? Like, even if someone is a dumbass and they're you disagree with what they're saying or they're saying something stupid, at least they're doing something.
Yeah.
If you're leaving a dumb comment on a blog, you're probably not even. I mean, you're probably at work getting paid. And goofing off and leaving a comment on a blog while someone else is an entrepreneur building a business. Like, screw you,
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say about that. And your mom is probably real fat if you're.
And your baby's ugly.
Yeah. And maybe your dog will have cancer and die. That would be okay with me.
And now that we've offended every possible group of people in the world. All right. So, Josh, how was your week?
Oh, how was my week? Pretty good. I've been working on John's launch. So, John, we'll have to meet next week. I'm pretty much planning to just probably be putting in like 12, 15-hour days to try to get everything squared away here. So we'll have to touch base here soon. And
cool. I'm glad I got you when I did, man. Before the price went up on me.
Seriously, you're charging like $3,000 an email now, right?
About 300. So. So I've got I got that. I sent you guys that email, the endorsement I got from Ben Settle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, pretty much with him, like I actually told him the way that worked was I gave him a good testimonial for his stuff because I started doing my daily emails finally, and within 2 weeks, the client I'd landed the client that this actually might turn out to be a 5-figure deal for me.
Nice.
Because he's come back to me now. He already signed up for. We're doing a $9,500 project, or $9,500
Mm-hmm.
deal, and then he wants to add another landing page to that, so that might tip us over into 5 figures, which will be
Nice.
my biggest, by far my biggest. So I told Ben, like I went into his Facebook group and deliberately I did the Dan Kennedy, write them a testimonial they can't refuse to print. So he grabbed the testimonial and used it in his email newsletter, and then after it went out, I was like, hey, would you consider giving me a testimonial? So that was pretty cool. It was funny because there's this copywriter who I met through the Copy Chief forum, and he's an email guy. I actually lost a deal to this guy when I was at Perry's house. I actually lost a deal. There was somebody who posted a job on the Copy Chief forum, and they were like, I need somebody to write emails for me. She was like running a bed. She coaches bed and breakfast owners, and she needed some emails put together. And so I was trying to get this job, and he snatched it up while I was at Perry's house because I was like out of commission for the whole day. And then so then he recently
for the whole day. Yeah.
At the pool party, right? So he joined my email list recently, and he's working on doing a giveaway. But he looked at my testimonials page. He's like, how in the world did you get testimonials from Perry Marshall, Ben Settle, and Kevin Rogers? And I'm gonna reply to him, and I'm gonna be like, well, remember when you were stealing that job from me?
This is what I was
Perry
getting.
Marshall's house. So that was pretty cool.
You just need to get Dan Kennedy on your trophy wall, and then you'll
I know. I'll be set. Oh, I do have.
Who?
I do have that. I do have the comment from John Carlton, which was in a private. I'm not going to use that one because it was in a private.
Ask him for permission.
Well, yeah, I've thought about it. I might, but So yeah, so that was pretty cool. John, so where I am with your stuff is I'm almost done with the launch email sequence. We've got a draft of the sales page ready.
Yeah.
I need to go back through that and edit it again. So I'll be doing that next week. I realized I'd also written the 5-day course that we're going to use, but I realized that we don't need that until after the launch. So I'm gonna not worry about going back through and cleaning it up until everything else is done.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the big stuff's pretty much done on that, and then we'll have to spend all of next week getting the sales page set up and everything like that.
Cool. Yeah, that should be awesome. I think I was going back through the numbers, and I think you might actually even do better than what we thought initially.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to temper my enthusiasm about it, but yeah, if we hit 1%, it'll be pretty cool. If we hit 2 or 3%, we're both gonna make some decent money off of it.
Yeah, and I think it's not unreasonable to hit 2 to 3% on that, especially with the way that you're pitching it in the bonuses and stuff. So yeah, and plus the contrast already, like, because people know that my How to Market Yourself is $200-300, so this is definitely like that price, that anchor point. Exactly.
Yep.
So we'll see. As long as I haven't drove everyone nuts, like drove away my audience with my crazy YouTube videos, but
yeah, what we can do is we'll stick a Yo Mama email in the sequence here for people who haven't bought yet.
Totally.
Yeah. So what else? So Ben Settle sent out an email this week. He sends out any job that comes across his desk that he doesn't take client work, so he sends them out to his paying subscribers. So there was one from Athletic Greens, which, John, you've probably heard of them.
Oh yeah, Pat Flynn and Tim Ferriss are on that boat.
Yep. And I've been interested. Like they're pretty big direct response company, it seems like. So I'm talking to them about they want to do. They're looking to get into like reaching out to gyms and stuff, so they need somebody to help them with that.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird because it turned out to be most of my first calls with people are more like, let's talk about the problem, and this one actually turned out to be more of a job interview. I think they're probably talking to several copywriters, and so they were kind of grilling me a lot about my experience, but it was fun because like I don't need anyone at this point. I don't need any one client, so I was just real straight with them. I was like, these are the types of things I've done before. I haven't done something exactly like what you're looking for. If that's what you want, then you'll need to find somebody else. But
great book for you, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Pitch Anything.
Okay.
I just read that book.
Uh-huh.
When I was reading it, I was thinking of you because I don't know. I think that it'll be a good one for you, like trying to get a client and stuff. It's not even necessarily about pitch. I mean, it's pitching, but it's more than pitching. But it talks about like these concepts like frame busting, like coming in with the frame that like the dominant frame, like because whenever you have an interaction with someone, like there's a frame, and kind of so like you're setting the rules of engagement essentially on the stage, and it's called prizing, where you make yourself be the prize instead of you chasing the it's right. Real interesting dynamics. But I was thinking that it's going to be helpful for anyone, but you're doing more pitching than any of us, I think. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now with a lot of the way that I'm positioning myself. When people come to me, that's kind of not really too much of an issue. But this was weird because I went to them.
Exactly.
So I need to get better at like doing what you're describing in that type of situation where I can like come in. They have a certain thing in mind, and I can come in and explode it, and kind of get them going the direction that I want them to go.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they're talking about. I mean, it was just a weird. They were really nice about it and everything, but it was just a weird call. It's like my weirdest client call. They were like, they were simultaneously quizzing me about my experience and background, and also like, kind of picking my brain for ideas. So it was like just this weird. I was like going back and forth between feeling kind of not defensive, but like kind of
Yeah.
digging around in my head, trying to come up with my the best way to present what I've done, and then like also having to be thinking on my feet about their marketing problems. It was just like I was off balance the whole time, but.
Yeah, that book would help you a lot because
Yeah.
it's like those are the situations where you have to gain like control of it and you have to like ask them the question and show that you're the one who is showing how this is going, and you need to make sure that you can work with them, that they meet the quality, that you don't pitch anything that you don't agree with. That's not kind of like in the right way to do it, to show, and to also show that okay, well, I'm done, so I'm walking away now. You got to be able to do that. Walk away. Instead of asking, and also to not have the need, never ask the question at the end. Like he talks about, don't say well, how does that sound to you? Or seeking validation. It's instead you end it with, okay, well, this is I've got to run to another meeting here, and whatever.
The way I do mine is I don't present anything concrete on the call. So typically it's more of a consultative type of thing where I'm asking them, I'm grilling them about their business and what they've tried, and their market and their product and their offer, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to take all of this, I'm going to come up with 3 options for you, and I'll have it to you in I give them a date, and it's 3 pricing options. Here's my recommendations. Here are 3 different pricing points that you could choose. And then I leave it up to them, and I give them a deadline for
to accept. Yeah, that's good, because then
So, but this was definitely not
not the typical.
It did not go like that at all. So, but they were pretty nice. They're both Australian, and they were pretty laid back, and it was friendly enough. So we'll see if anything comes of that. What else? So I'm actually thinking. So I've been thinking a lot about if I could just have any business at all, what would I want? Because I'm working on with my coach. I'm working on kind of planning for the next couple of years, 2-3 years, what I want to build. And I just keep coming back to I really want to just have a big freaking email list and sell stuff. And the client work and stuff, I want to keep doing that. I like it, and it's good development for me to get into a lot of different businesses, and it'll give me the kind of the background. But if I could just have anything right now, I would just want 50,000 people on an email list about marketing, and I would do affiliate stuff, and I would probably also do info products. There's this guy named Michael Senov, and he has this site called hardtofindseminars.com, and what he does is he basically just interviews people, and he sells the interviews.
Yeah.
I would freaking love that business. So I'm like, that's really what I want, and I don't really want. There's a ton of other stuff that I've been thinking about that I don't know. I just don't want to be doing all that stuff, and so I think what I'm going to do is just really double down. I'm going to do some giveaways to build my marketing list. I think I'm going to do a giveaway next month for Thrive themes.
Nice. Because
that's really popular, and it seems like it's popular with serious marketers too. So I'll get kind of the bloggers. I think I'll also get some serious marketers in there. I think that'll be better than probably better than my Sublime giveaway in terms of the quality of people that I pick up. And then I'm just going to work on paid traffic. I'm going to get, at this point, I don't care. Yeah, I'm just going to nail Facebook traffic. I'm going to figure out how to get Facebook traffic. If I can get email signups for $2 or $3 each in the U.S., I'm not going to worry about monetizing them right now. I just want to get my list growing. Because, okay, here's the thing with affiliate stuff. The risk is if I try to build a funnel off of Facebook with affiliate stuff, I'm going to get shut down.
Right.
And I'm going to lose my Facebook advertising entirely.
Well, get an ebook or something at least to offset the costs. Maybe your full back end is not, your offering is not, you don't have the full product line, but
yeah. I mean, I can start. What I'm going to do is build some funnels. Like I have my King Sumo funnel. I'm going to build some of those and just start pitching, and I'll pitch those to people. What I'm not going to worry about is like getting all the conversion tracking set up so that I can see in Facebook, okay, I spent $2 on this person and I made $2.25.
you need that though. That's
Yeah,
you're
but I
putting the
can't.
cart before the horse, because here's the thing, because you're getting too eager to do this, and the key thing about paid acquisition is knowing your customer lifetime value, or the acquisition cost, which translates to the acquisition cost. Because if you don't know that, because what determines the amount of money that you spend is that cost. If you could acquire customers, I mean, if you could trade nickels for dimes, you would spend as much money as you can, right? And so if you don't know that up front, then you're just guessing. Because I mean, even if you're acquiring people for a nickel, if you don't know that you can get a dime out of them, you're going to be guessing. So I think you've got to get that other piece to it. Otherwise, you're just not going to know. I mean, you're not going to know if you're being effective with your ads. Like, you can look at what the cost ends up being, but I don't know. I'd be very, very cautious about doing that.
I'm not going to sink a lot of money into it, but at least a few $100s a month. If I can get people for $2 or $3 each, I will make a profit no matter what.
Doing what?
I can sell. Well, okay, Thrive Themes is a good example.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of arguing John's point here. You're paying to get these people, but where is your how do you know that you're going to make a profit off of them? What I mean, are you just going to go buy some random mailing list of random people? How do you know that you're getting people that will actually turn around and give you money?
I won't.
The other issue is that you're talking about using affiliate programs. So it's like, look, I'll get a really big list, and then I'll throw affiliate programs at it, and then I'll make affiliate commissions off of it. But you're going to have to make sure that you're attracting the right people to match up with those offers still.
Right.
So you're still going to have some idea of what you're going to make off of them in order to make it worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying, but I just don't see, like, in the marketing niche, I think that if I try to build that, Facebook will just continue to shut me down, and there's no way to do it.
There's got to be like a way to do it. I mean, then it's not sustainable in the long term anyway. I mean, you got to have.
It's not. But if I can feed it for a while with paid Facebook traffic, later if I get shut down or if Facebook changes, I can feed it with other paid traffic sources. If I've got a bigger list, then I can start to do joint ventures with people. It will become more self-sustaining in the future.
But I think part of John's point here, though, is you're trying to get all these people onto a list so that you can set this stuff up and do it, and that is a backwards way of looking at it. That's what I did with Watch Me Code for so long. I had all these people coming onto my list, and I was focusing on getting people onto my list, but I didn't have anywhere for them to go. And I've been doing it backwards for the last couple of years.
Right. Well,
and I'm just now seeing how I needed to have I needed to have things in place for the few people that were on my mailing list.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And know that the things I had in place were working before I started growing my mailing list like mad. I very much did things backwards, and my business would have grown significantly if I had done the things I'm doing now 2 years ago.
This isn't really any different than what you guys have done. The only difference is that you're blogging. You're paying for the subscribers with your time with blogging, and I'd be paying with actual cash.
But I've got a back end.
Right. I have
a back end.
You didn't,
though, for a long time, John.
Well, once I had a mailing list, I pretty much had a back end. I mean, I launched my product into my 3,000 person mailing list when I launched the first product.
You put in you put in 5 years of work. You invested 5 years of money into building the traffic to your site before you launch the mailing list.
Well, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't plan that out. I'm actually thinking about starting a new business now, like starting over. And I've been thinking about planning, like, how would I do it? Like, knowing what I know now, like,
Right.
what would be the way that I would do it? And I've got a whole, you know where it starts for me, honestly? Like, when I think about everything I did wrong and everything I did right and all the information I have now, it starts with coming up with a theme, like what is my core values kind of theme of the thing, and then the very next step for me comes with coming up with the 3 product offerings, the 3 tiers from my low, mid-level, and high-level tier, and then it goes backwards from there. So step 2 for me is that. Like, that's how I would start out today.
Right.
Is have the tiers first, because if you have the products that you're going to sell first, this is why I'm thinking this, and this is why I'm saying this, is because I've seriously been thinking about this for a while now, is if you have what you're going to sell first, if you have those 3 product tiers, then you can go backwards and craft everything, your entire business around that. Because then your offer, when you try to get people on your mailing list, it's all based on being a follow-up that's going to lead them up that 3-tier ladder.
That's assuming you get a product that you guess right on the product.
Yeah, so it seems like a little bit circular at this point, because you need to have people that you can talk to figure out what they want, so that you can build the product. But you need to build the product first before you get the mailing list and start.
I think it's a mistake to build a product first, honestly.
Well, no, I'm not saying build the product first. I'm not saying build the product first. I'm saying define what it's going to be, what those 3 levels are going to be first, so that you know what you're trying to get people in. So if you have you're going to build the product that they want, essentially, but you've got to base it off of this. From the very beginning, you have to have a good sales funnel that's going to work, so that you can then monetize that. So you can start with paid acquisition, so you don't have to spend 5 years building a blog. Because that's the thing, is like, I'm looking at Simple Programmer now, and I'm like, well, if I had very clearly defined product tiers that followed on, I could actually do paid acquisition and grow and not have to count on totally organic. And so, I mean, if you're going to build like a totally automated business, you've got to start there at least. I mean, it doesn't mean that you totally define out what's going to be in the product. Like, you can do surveying once you start to get an audience and figure out, but
here's kind of what this comes down to in my mind, is if you're looking at what John has done and what I'm starting to do, and you're seeing that as the success that you want to repeat, you're going to spend the next 5 years trying to do it, because it's taken us 5 years.
Yeah, I actually don't want. I mean, that's not. I don't really want what you guys have built specifically.
But you seem to be saying that you're looking at what we have done as a model to work from.
No, I'm actually just kind of using it for this discussion.
Okay.
But you want a big list of people centered around a niche or idea, theme, right?
Yeah, basically.
So, okay, I've got another solution for you, because you're in this mode. I mean, no offense, but I think you're in this mode where you want the end product, you want the thing, you know what you want. You want a big list. You want 50,000 people on a list, and then that's your dream, so you can market to them. So, rather than spending a bunch of money without having a back end and knowing, because I really don't think you can do paid acquisition without. I mean, you know how hard paid acquisition is. You can't do it without having numbers. Like, every single. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm like, man, I should instrument every single step, because then I would able to. I'm having a hard time doing paid acquisition now. I would have been able to. But what you can do now is, look, if you want the end product and you're going to pay and you're willing to pay for it up front, which if you're going to pay like $300 a month without having anything to sell to get people on lists, and you are willing to pay for it up front, then here's what you do. Go to flippa.com, go to like a business broker, I forget what the Empire Builders or whatever, find someone that's a shitty marketer that has a big list that wants to sell their business, that has a list.
I actually was looking. Those sites don't have anything. There was one guy this week. One thing that kind of got me thinking about this a little bit was there was a guy that posted. He basically has a business in the paleo space, and he's got like a list of around 10,000 people.
Yeah.
He basically was just looking for somebody to take it over and do emails for him, and then they'd split the money. And if something like that comes along, I contacted this guy and I didn't hear back from him. But yeah, if something like that came along, I'd be all over it. That's kind of the ideal. That's kind of where I would love to land.
Yeah.
But yeah, I looked at some of those sites this week just for the heck of it, and it's just garbage. What it is. Flippa is all. There's like a few websites that are selling for like $500,000 that are probably worth something, and then there's like a bazillion people who have like thrown up a blog and bought a domain name, and they put like 20 blog posts on there, and they're like saying it's great potential.
But here's what you're doing though. Look, see, but you know what you're looking for. What you're looking for, I mean, your ideal, like sniff it out, is you want a crappy business where someone but they have a big list. And it's a marketing email. They're just like some kind of cheesy internet marketer who has no idea how to do it. Like they're trying to do affiliate marketing. There's so many affiliate marketing people out there that just are just total dumbasses and don't know what they're doing and just trying to make a quick buck. But they build up a big list, right?
Yeah, but they also have their lists are also burned. They're garbage.
Maybe, but you can resurrect it. Like you can take that thing and then because you can. I mean, you're looking for a fixer-upper, right? That's what I'm saying. Is like, but most people that are looking for a fixer-upper are looking for a good, solid business engine that they can change this site or it's got a good idea or add a product to it. You're looking for one where you just care about the list. So I mean, you might be able to get a discounted value and then take that list and then really revitalize the list by doing your daily emails and like I don't know. Yeah. That's what I would look for if you're going to invest money.
I'd love something like that, honestly. I just don't know how to find it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have in the past when I was looking at programming stuff. I tried to contact some people that had some sites that looked like they were getting some decent traffic but hadn't been updated, and like it's tough. Like all you can get is a lot of times is like the the ICANN or whatever, the who is information, and nobody ever responds to you when you contact those addresses. So yeah, I would love, honestly, I'd love that. I just don't know how to find it.
If you like, I would give you this offer, like, because we talked about this in the past. I would say, like, I mean, if you're interested in the programming space, I've got a pretty dang big list, like,
Yeah.
We've talked about, but like, but you'd have to like go without really making a lot of money for some time. Like, we could do some kind of deal where you work with me, we together like grow a simple programmer. There's a bunch of stuff we could do. And then, because I want to eventually get hands off into it, and then you earn yourself into 50% ownership of the company. Like you double at some point when you double the revenue, then you own now 50%, or maybe it's a little higher than double because we're because I put in sweat work to get to there. But maybe it's like when you 1.5x the revenue, but that might take like a year to do. But I mean, I would totally do that deal because. I mean, and maybe if it's not me, maybe you can find someone else that would be willing to do that deal. But
yeah,
I don't know. But that's a deal where it's like, I don't know. You're not really making money for a long period of time. That's the
right. Yeah, that's
the thing.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, you could support yourself doing copywriting on the side, right?
Yeah.
As you're like grinding. Whatever you do, you're going to have a grind. This is what sucks at this point. Like, whatever you do at this point, you're going to have a grind. And it's going to be a few-year grind. Like, there's just no way to build I mean, unless you want to do multi-level marketing, there's no way to build a business without a grind.
But see, yeah, but you can grind. You can use money to do the grinding for you, and I can feed it from my copywriting. Like, that's kind of what I want to do. Is I want to use my copywriting, I'll do my grinding on the copywriting side of things, and then find a way to feed what I want.
But until you have a machine that works and produces what you want on the other end, you're just grinding money into nothing.
I mean, not really, because like if I build a big list of people that are interested in marketing, that is going to feed my copywriting business. I mean, I just made, probably I've made about $10,000 off of my email list from somebody who found me on Twitter.
Okay. So now you're talking sense.
Yeah. So I can.
You're not out there.
So it's not like but I can't. What I can't do is I can't say, okay, I spent $300 on Facebook last month, but 2 months from now, one of those people turned out to be somebody who's interested in copywriting or coaching or something. Like I can't, unless you're going to build, like, I've seen what it takes to build a funnel where you can like track everything to the penny like that, and unless you're willing to build, unless you can really invest 6 months to a year building products and having a sequence of upsells and getting all that stuff in place and a lot of tracking, like, it's really difficult.
I just don't see a way around putting in the work. You keep saying you can throw money at it and have the money do the work, but I don't see that happening. I mean, I've tried that countless times, and I just end up wasting money.
Yeah, we're all telling you the same thing here because we don't want you to make a mistake because we see your eagerness, and I understand your eagerness.
You're wanting to pay to get to the end result, and if it were that easy, there would be a lot more people that were highly successful.
Well, you can. You have to pay 3 to 5x revenue, right? Like, if you're not going to pay by a business, right? That's the only way. Like, I mean, but what you're saying, okay, but I think we can salvage something out of this. Like, if you want to do the paid acquisition, like, absolutely. I mean, I would go put all my money on red on this one to say that if you ask Perry Marshall, if you ask Dan Kennedy, if you ask any of your mentors, any of your centaur mentors, if you ask any centaur, they're going to tell you that that you cannot do paid acquisition without knowing the numbers, without having the tracking. Like, it's just a foolish game. But you can't. But if you're going to plug in the back end to be, okay, your service-based business where you're going to sell copywriting services and funnel building, that's totally fine. But you got to track it somehow so that you can say, look, I spent $300 on Facebook advertising this week, and I yielded this many leads. I mean, even if it's just in the pipeline, even if you say, okay, well, when they're in this stage of the pipeline, their approximate value is $50 or whatever it is. I mean, you got to come up with some kind of system before you start doing this. Otherwise, you're just going to be pissing money, and then you won't know, like, if you're making progress or not. Because yes, you might be able to get the yield. You might be able to say, let's say you're picking up people off of Facebook for 25 cents each. And you say, oh yeah, this is awesome, but you don't, it might be because your ads are attracting people that will never buy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just won't be, you got to be able to monetize, have some kind of tracking, otherwise, otherwise it's just not going to work.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And you don't have to track it then to the penny and all that stuff to get there, but you have to know, at what point it's starting to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with Watch Me Code, I would love to know exactly where everybody's coming from all the time. But the reality is my subscriber count is currently increasing, and I'm fairly certain it's because I am getting a lot more traffic on my blog and a lot more people on my mailing list. People are finding out who I am and starting to trust me and eventually seeing Watch Me Code and signing up. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing more to make Watch Me Code apparent to the people on my mailing list. It's not perfect tracking. There may be some random, alignment of planets that are causing people to find it and sign up. I don't know. But if this trend continues, then that's good enough for me. I don't need to have perfect tracking set up to see that my subscriber count is increasing.
Right.
I've been sending people over there to learn Common Lisp. That's what's
totally.
I mean, I think, for me, what would probably make the most sense would just be to, basically look at revenue coming off of my list.
Yeah.
And, and if copywriting and copy critiques and that sort of thing. Right. I'm gonna probably be doing. I think I'm gonna be doing my intro level products are gonna be critiques and my discovery process.
Yeah, one other thing that I would do on this is just make sure that you know how long and how much this has to pay off before you kill it.
Right.
So, your expectation is in 3 months it's going to pay off to the tune of $30,000. And so if in 5 months it hasn't made the $30,000, then it's probably never going to. And so
right.
Yeah.
And you can tag them. I mean, you can. I mean, is like they're saying. I don't think it has to be all that sophisticated. You can tag people when they come in through paid advertising. Know the source. Know the ad. Like, I mean, just make sure you set it up really well, so that you can then say, okay, well, this, when you make a sale or whatever, when you realize revenue, you can attribute it back to the paid advertising, because then you can. I understand it's not like as easy as a product where you're like, okay, well, that product came from that sale, but you can still kind of figure out the lifetime value of a customer, and even if it has a long lead, I mean, it should, maybe your lead time is like 3 months, so it will take some time to really see the the funnel, because you're doing a services, and then if people convert after 3 months, it's bonus, right? So, but I wouldn't use that, like, I don't know. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be something. I think you've got to have some way to be able to justify the cost of the advertising to say whether it's working or not. Because just the price for acquisition, like the flat cost of cost per click or cost per acquisition on the platform, is not enough details. Because, like I said, you don't know the quality. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Shazam!
Dream crushers. We are dream crushers.
Crunch.
Anyone else have big dreams? We'll fix that too. So I've got some stuff going on. First of all, I decided that, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm systemizing the stuff for the conferences.
Yep.
So that Mandy can do all that work. My developer in Argentina, he's got most of the work done already to get those sites up. He's converting the page layouts today over from like JS Remote Conf into the Rails app, so that we can just change all the names and text fields on there and have it go up, and then Mandy can add all of the speakers and things like that, and it'll all just go in.
Nice.
So I'm super excited about that. We should have it up in time for Rails Remote Conf, and then I can just push it out then and start bringing people over. The thing I really wanted to talk about, though, was the smart TV stuff. I've talked about it on the Freelancer show and on this show and in a couple of other places, and I'm starting to have people trickle in and say, hey, there's this company out there that does this. Like, one guy recommended a sports company that transmits global sports events, like rugby was his example. He's like, that's the only place I can find to watch rugby, and it'd be nice if I could get it on my TV, or stuff like that here in the U.S. So I'm looking at finding these companies, and I'm trying to figure out where to get a good list of them that I can go after, and B, how to approach them, because for some of them, I'm just not going to be able to travel out and meet with them. Others of them are, I'm looking at like local affiliates and stuff, and so I probably know somebody who works there, and so I can probably find my way into the ranks there and at least get lunch with somebody who has decision-making power, and talk to them and figure out what their issues are and figure out how I can solve them. But anyway, I'm kind of hoping that you guys have some thoughts on some of this stuff. I can tell you so far what I've done is I've made a list of the different types of companies I think I could work with, and then I've been listing all of the different companies underneath that fit under there.
Okay. What are some of those categories?
So one is local TV affiliates, because they have like the local news and stuff like that. It just makes sense that you might want to, so here like KSL,
Yeah.
So KSL is the local NBC affiliate. They're probably not going to put the big NBC network shows or primetime shows up there, but they have like a morning show, and they have a news show at 6 and at 10, and I think they have one or two other shows on the weekends. And those are really only interesting to people who live in and around Salt Lake or in and around Utah. So I'm thinking that they might be interested in having their own app, because they put a lot of this on their website, and I think it just makes sense to put it on the TV too. So I listed all of those. Some of these are run by the local colleges too, and I think they're their stations, they might want those on those smart TVs. Another category is podcasts and other media companies, so like 5x5.tv, twit.tv. I have devchat.tv, which I'm planning on doing anyway, as kind of my demo of what I can put together. And then I'm also looking at training companies like lynda.com or pluralsight.com, Code School, IT Pro TV, Khan Academy.
That's a real good category.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last category is companies that generate media but aren't necessarily like TV channels, and they don't really go under like the podcast channel either. So we're talking about like Dave Ramsey or Glenn Beck or Rush Limbaugh or some of these others where they're putting media out on a regular basis, but they're not actually like the radio station or the TV station that actually carries it. So they actually put their stuff on affiliates. So
I have to be 100% honest. I really don't like this idea, and I'll tell you why. Not because I don't like the idea itself. It's because it's so disconnected from everything else you're doing.
Yeah.
And you've had burnout because I'm dream pressure today. That's why, 'cause I'm in dream pressure mode. But and then I'm going to tell you, and then you guys can crush my dream. But anyway, it's so disconnected from what you're doing, from the other stuff you're doing. You've had feelings of burnout before. It's going to come if it comes up again. What's going to go? What's going to, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather you have a light schedule and be focused. Like in my mind, I think you'll be more successful than to split here, because it's just so disconnected from everything else. Like your energy is going to be split. I know it's just tangentially related. And then the other thing I would say, like, if you absolutely want to pursue this, because I mean, I think the idea is good, like in general, like, but if you absolutely wanted to pursue this, I would find a co-founder who is going to dedicate 100% of their time to this, because this is going to be like, I mean, this is no walk in the park, and you've got no track record here either. So, like, I mean, you're an expert developer and teach developers, but as far as this space itself, you're not going to have, and this might take big funding to be able to, like, this might not be a bootstrap type of company, especially if you want to hit it out of the park, which I think you could with this. So I would say that, I mean, as much, I don't know, like, I think you're shooting too far. I'd personally just rather see you drop it and just focus on, because the stuff that you got with the podcast and the online conferences now, and then creating this media empire, and also being being able to be the middleman for selling advertising space, that totally is like, I think you're going to hit the moon with that. Like, that's a rocket ship that's going somewhere, whereas this could be just like a time sink that you won't ever have the full energy that you need to devote to be able to, like, do these pitches, to be able to get these clients. And and when you do hit this point where you're, like, feeling burnt out, I feel like it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So I don't know. I would, if I could discourage you, I would discourage you.
So I have been thinking about this some, as far as, I mean, I don't know what kind of time commitment this really is going to be. I really want to chase it, but I mean, I've been planning on building a Chromecast app for like 3 weeks, and I haven't been able to because I just haven't had the time. And so I feel like if I can get everything automated with the other stuff so that it doesn't take up a ton of my time, then I could pursue this part-time. But I don't know if part-time's enough time either. I pretty much came to the decision that I was going to basically do whatever I could to systemize the rest of the stuff to the point where I don't have to have 100% involvement with it all the time, and it can still go on at the level it's going, because I care about that. So that's the conferences and the podcast sponsorships and things like that are what I'm getting into a system now. And I felt like if I could get to the end of the year and have all of that stuff basically mostly autopiloted, I mean, I don't have any illusion that I'm going to just be completely hands-off, but I think I can be mostly hands-off. And then if I could get to that point, then I could dedicate a day or two a week to this and see where it takes me.
But you're not going to build this company with a day or two a week.
No, that's true.
Like,
but at this point, what I want to do is I want to be able to talk to one or two of these companies every week and see where things are and evaluate the market and see if this is even a problem that's worth solving, that they care about. And in the meantime, I really kind of do want these apps for my own media network. And
But
so
but there's no reason you should develop them. You should pay someone to develop them.
I thought about that too, and
Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you want to do this because it's fun.
Yeah, but that's kind of the direction I think I'd wind up going anyway, is that I would come to understand the market, I would come to understand how to solve these problems for these media companies, and then I would hire developers to build the apps. And I would tell them what they needed to do.
Get there by building it, by hiring somebody to build it for you first, because it's a problem that you want to solve for your own network. I
really want to build one.
Fine, go build
At least
it.
one.
Okay, then if you really want to do this,
build it for yourself once, and then hire developers that
that's
can
what I'm
grow
thinking.
it.
Because then I can talk to them and I can say, look, I know that the Apple TV does X, Y, and Z, so make an app that does X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but don't try to build a business around this until you have somebody that can build the business.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Build it,
you can that can build the code for the business. Go write the app once for yourself because you want it, and you want to, and because it'll solve a need that your network has. But then after that, hand it over to somebody as a business partner, development partner, technical co-founder, whatever you want to call it.
That's
and then take it to clients after you have it built up enough to where all of DevChat is running on it, and it's so easy for you to see all of the problems and difficulties and challenges from the technical side, so that the only thing standing in the way is the business challenge.
And that might kill the itch too. I mean, so
that you might realize, holy crap, this is ridiculous. I'm not ever going to do this again. And it would be far better for you to learn those things by building it once for yourself instead of trying to build a business out of it first.
And if you build it for yourself, it has a benefit.
So what you're telling me, and I can go with this, because this is sort of along the lines of what I was thinking, but I was kind of thinking I'd contact companies now. But what you're telling me is, since I want to build the apps, just to build the apps, just for my own, whatever, for fun, for exploration, for growth, whatever, to go ahead and do that, and then once I know what's involved in building these apps, then go talk to these companies maybe in 2, 3, 4 months. And then figure out if it's a problem that they want solved as well.
Right. But get a co-founder for something like this for sure, I think.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I would say is, if you do decide you want to go into this, I would think you really need to 100% automate your other business, which means that you would have to find someone, or I mean, I guess they're all panel interviews, so you would have to essentially get off of some of the podcasts and free up, because you want to go into something like this 100%, because I mean, you're going to be pitching, you're going to be like, I mean, the development side of this is the easy side. Selling the idea and building the network is the hard part. And so I really wouldn't walk into this without a co-founder and without giving it my 100%. Because I feel like there's no way that you're going to succeed other than that. Because what you don't want to do is create like a couple of one-off like consulting gigs for yourself. That's not going to get you anywhere. You got to build a nice big business out of this. So and I don't know. This is the kind of business that I don't think you bootstrap. I think it's the one where maybe you start off bootstrap, but you seek outside funding to build a nice big team that can like do these in a funnel and just and so I don't know, but don't whatever you do, just don't like kill your you've got like
I'm not killing my other business.
You're digging a hole and you're hitting gold, and it's like, no, stop digging more holes. There's more gold in that hole. Go get all the gold out of that hole, and then you can dig another hole.
Yeah, that's been my intention, at least through the end of this year, is to automate. I'd really like to get 100% automation. I think realistically I can probably automate about 90 to 95% of what I'm doing, with the exception of being on the podcast, which I just love doing anyway. And then I can figure out, okay, can I actually chase this down, and is it worth really, the pain? Is it, what am I going to have to give up, and what are the trade-offs?
Right. And then the last question I think you should ask is, if I devoted my time to elsewhere, is there a better place I could devote the time? Because it may be that you get the other business 95% automated, but then you realize that now you have this time to work on the business instead of in it.
Right.
And that could be like, I mean, that's
right. Then I could 10x it instead of
exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And if you 10x it, then you can let that thing run for a little bit, or you could sell it and you can have your millions of dollars, and then you can do whatever the hell you want. You know what I mean? Then you can go scratch this itch because you don't have to worry. But yeah, I
could invest in this myself and bring other people in to do
exactly
to run it for me.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't kill your 10x potential. That's the thing. Is that what I'm saying? Is like the rocket ship is going, somewhere. Like whatever you do, don't jeopardize anything that jeopardizes that rocket ship is bad, because you've got like a success formula because you built the podcast network, and now you're taking it to all the remote conferences, and you've got this ad network going. Like whatever you do, just don't. That baby can multiply up to the 10x.
Yeah.
I really believe it.
So I have one other question then about the ad network thing, because right now I've kind of let that sort of lie while I focus on the remote conference thing, because I'm really bad at focusing on two things at a time.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get the remote conference thing more or less automated here within the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll probably have a week or so before we have a baby, right around Thanksgiving anyway. So I mean that week's pretty much useless anyway. But one thing that I'm trying to figure out, because both you, Josh, and you, John, just kind of came to me and said, "Hey, can you find advertisers?" But I'm wondering, how do I go find more clients? I mean, I can email them. Yeah. So I mean, I can email them and say, "Hey, I did this for Josh and John." I still haven't pushed too hard to try and find you advertisers, John. Sorry.
That's all right.
But, I did this for Josh and John. Let's say I do successfully, fill up your advertising for several months. Do I just email them and say, "This is what I did. Is this what you want?" I mean, I guess I have to articulate the benefit and talk about the solution, but, and explain I have all these contacts in the tech space. But, the other thing is I actually have 2 funnels because I also have to go find more advertisers, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about that. So I think the main problem is, the biggest problem to me seems like, how do you put together a list of people? It's not even how do you approach them, it's how do you find them. This is the same problem I have in my business, because it's like, it's tough to find, it's tough to go after people proactively. This is not something that a lot of people are going to be looking for. And you have to find a way. You have to be able to find a way to identify likely prospects. And for me, it's tough because even people that are using expensive software to send email don't necessarily have the money to hire me.
Yeah.
For you, it might be a looking for high traffic websites. Like hiring someone to research the highest traffic websites, and there's tools that you can get that kind of like help you spider around and see, like, okay, people go to devchat.tv, they also go to these other sites. And it might be a manual effort like that.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm wondering too is that I need to be able to match up advertisers with the right audiences, and I feel like I have a good feel for that, but I don't know how to explain to the advertisers that this is the network or podcast or blog or whatever they want to advertise on. So I don't know. I talk to people, and I know the Ruby market, so I've had people come in and say, "I want to advertise Ruby Rogues," and I've said, "No, you don't." And I've had other people come in, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is a slam dunk," and then they wind up sponsoring me for years and years and years and years because they're making a ton of money.
Well, there's your expertise there. I mean, I think you just have to lay it out like that. It's like, I know this market.
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. I know this market better than anyone. I can tell you, where you should advertise.
So I just pull the I'm the expert. That's why you called me.
Yeah, I think so. And as far as finding the clients, it's basically any big website or podcast, right? Every single one of them has this pain. Some of them have solved the pain, but a lot of them have solved it in crappy ways. I mean, let's take Scott Hanselman, for example. His blog is a lot bigger than mine. His podcast is a lot bigger than mine or yours, right? He is using developer media, which is what I'm using for backfill on my banner ads. And he's got like a couple of the dude could be making $10,000 a month for one sponsor, but he has no idea. If you were to email him and be like, look, I got this for Simple Programmer and you're 5 times as big, look, this is what you could be looking at. He's gonna and then his objection is, well, I don't have time. It's not worth it. But then you're like, this is a done for you service.
Yeah.
I will get you the guys, right? I'm gonna take 30%. You're gonna get this big fat check for nothing. I mean, you're wasting. I think it's an easy pitch in that case.
Yeah.
There's a lot of low-hanging fruit there, and even the ones where they already have something in place. I think you're still offering them something. I don't know. I think you've got some shots there. And you only need a few of these big cats to really have a good business out of this.
Yeah, I think on that end it's easier too, because it's like, look, you have nothing to lose because I'll just do it all for you.
Yeah.
It's the other end to explain to the advertisers why they should put the money down on it. And I mean, to a certain degree, I can show them numbers and give them information about the audiences, but that's not always enough to sell them.
Well, that I don't know. That's your job.
Yeah.
You're the expert there, so I have no.
Some of them do it because it's like, yeah, I like you, I trust you, boom, done.
That's how most deals are done, right? And they've got an advertising budget they need to spend. Yep. Most people don't track their advertising budgets. They have no idea.
I would dare say that the majority of the sponsors I have, that's the way it's been done.
Yeah.
So listens to the show. I like them. They like you. We'll sponsor you.
Right. We've got this advertising budget, whatever. And the bigger the brand is, the more that their advertising is not focused on specific conversions, but is focused on brand awareness. Yeah. Coke doesn't track their conversions. I mean, maybe they're wasting money advertising, but they're sure spending a whole lot of it, and their focus is on making you, love Coke, like the brand, to recognize it, not that that you specifically buy Coke because you watch this ad.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, give me some sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck, part of that is going to be if you can build a little bit of a funnel where you can bring people in and it would be nice if they would understand some of that stuff and have heard some case studies and some before you have that conversation with them as the advertiser.
Yeah.
Yep. If you can get as much of that out of the way as possible up front. I honestly don't know what that looks like for this, though. I would have to think about it.
I'll gladly be your testimonial.
Yeah.
My business was barely getting by until Chuck came and gave me advertising.
I am Wonder Chuck.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I really appreciate it. I actually have to leave. I have a lunch appointment here soon, but.
Oh, can we real quick then? I use my talking time killing everyone's dreams, so I'll wait till next week. But can we real quick talk about MicroConf if you've got time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we've got dates now. Can we all commit to showing up? I don't know 3 days early.
I can do that.
Yeah, let me look at my calendar real quick. I was, for some reason, I was looking at 3 days after.
And we're what? How many months out now? It's October.
Plenty of time to be able to.
5 months out. Yeah.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out I was gonna say we don't have to take vows of abstinence, so because it's more than 9 months. It's less than 9 months.
Wow.
No one's allowed to have any kids. until after MicroConf. That's it.
Exactly.
Except for ones that are already in progress.
Gotta put those on hold.
I was going to say, my wife is going to come find you, John.
What was the date on that? It was
It's like
the
April
3rd through the
5th.
6th or something like that.
Yeah.
So we would meet there like on March 31st and,
Something like that, yeah.
or March 30th.
Yeah, let's all look at our calendars.
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Okay. Because that would be the ideal, I think, if we do that.
Yeah, get there first.
Yeah.
Do it ahead of time. That sounds great to me, and this is way ahead of time. Plenty of time for me to be able to organize this with kids and family and stuff.
Okay, so we're thinking arrive early on March 31st or
March 30th.
Okay, yeah, arrive on March 30th. That gives us the 31st, the 1st, and the 2nd before the conference. That's 3 days to hang out and get sick of each other, and then and record a podcast, and then and then we got MicroConf. Yep.
Yeah, but there are 4 of us, and that's 3 days before MicroConf. So that really gives us like a half a day or so each, plus an extra day or a little less than a day.
Gonna hit up the gambling.
Yeah. To just kind of in general, talk things over.
I was going to show up on 2 days even before that, on Monday.
We're gonna get there and we're gonna find out that John has not slept in 48 hours. He sat at the blackjack tables the whole time.
I just told my wife I blocked out the whole calendar. No, I don't play blackjack. I play poker.
Oh, poker. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put on my calendar from Wednesday the 30th through April the 2nd, Entreprogrammers in Vegas. What happens in Vegas gets broadcast.
That's right.
Live.
What happens in Vegas gets broadcast on the Entreprogrammers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to commit to this at this point.
Really?
Think about it. Yeah.
You were committing to going to frickin' Mexico just to go
for 3 days. But no, that was kind of different. It was shorter for one thing.
So
commit to cheaper. We weren't gonna. Okay, so here.
Coming out to Vegas, and you can decide if you want to do MicroConf later.
I don't know. I'll
I'll
think about
split a room with you. You could stay. In fact, you could stay. You could sleep on my floor for free.
Bring your mattress. Bring your mattress from home.
No, I'll get a double, and you can split the room with me. I'll pay for it. It's not a big deal.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna think about it. I just need to. I need to figure out like what. Well, we don't know. Do we have any idea? What was the cost of MicroConf last year?
Like
1,000.
Okay.
What can we do to make it worth?
Well,
because their time to give us some kind of sponsorship for MicroConf to sponsor the Entreprogrammers to be there. Like not like just totally free, but just some kind of like.
We could threaten to make them an anti-sponsor. There's always that, right?
Today's anti-sponsor is brought to you by Apple. Next week will be brought to you by.
We could threaten to set off the fire suppression system.
Can we add some kind of value to the conference that would make it worth our? Like, I mean, obviously we can broadcast live from there, and but how does that value add?
Yeah,
value
so I mean, like while we're talking, since we're talking about things having to pay off and have like for me, conferences have to have like a pretty strong revenue.
Well, this one's got a huge payoff for you because think about it. Well, when I went there last year, there were plenty of people with ideas, developers, right? And there was less marketers. So I think being a marketing person, like a copywriter,
but the problem is it's going to be startups. And my experience with startups has been less than stellar.
It's not all startups. There's a lot of established businesses there, like a lot, so.
Even if you don't go to MicroConf, Josh, it's us getting together is half the point of going, and you should at least come out for that.
I know. I'm driving all the way down, so.
I mean, I don't pay. I don't pay to go to conferences ever. If I'm going to a conference, it's because the conference is flying me out there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be dropping like $4,000 on a conference not too long before this. That's the thing that for me is.
This is one of those things where even if MicroConf turns out to be worthless for me, which I mean that would be like ridiculous if it was. This is absolutely worth me spending the money on to hang out with you guys, and because I know that MicroConf is going to be worth it. I've seen the programs that they've had for the last few years, and I have desperately wanted to go, and this is my excuse to go. I mean, even if you don't go to the conference, come out to hang out with us. Spend 2 days with us, and then fly home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
And don't forget the bonus. You can sleep on the floor of my hotel room.
That's right, for free.
The bonus.
If you pay, you might even be able to cuddle with him.
Oh.
They do have the paid cuddling. Is that what we want to call it in
That's
Vegas?
right. It's Vegas.
Oh gosh.
I'll teach you how to play poker. Just show up 2 days early, and you'll make enough money to pay into your MicroConf.
All right, I'll think about it. I'll make a
Okay.
decision.
I've got to go, guys. I've got to go.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
Okay, I gotta go.
Podcast
Okay.
listening so much,
Yeah,
so
me too. All right.
Bye.
I don't have a thought because I've got to go. So.
Okay.
My thought is I'm hungry. Bye.
I've got a good thought. My thought is, you got to be willing to die to be reborn, and I'll leave that as an open loop till next time.
Highlander.
Oh man.
There can be only 144,000.
All right. We ending?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't have a thought. I can't follow that anyway.
No.
Well, I'll give you a quick one, but basically it's make a goal, make a plan, and then make it happen.
Yep.
Josh, any last minute thought?
Nope.
Okay. All right. See you next time.
All right.
Bye.